So, Facebook decided to censor me and deplatform me. Hello, this is Kevin Porter from Kevin Porter for, dang it. So, Facebook decided that they were, oh, that's not right. Just this a little bit. Get it straight. There we go. Straight, straight. Okay, let's go. So, Facebook decided that they were going to censor me and deplatform me. Hello, everybody. This is Kevin Porter from Kevin number 4 Congress.com, running for Congress in District 11, Florida, though this is relevant for anyone watching this video today. So what happened and why did they deplatform me? Why did they censor my campaign? All right, election interference. I'm going to tell you, reveal all the dirty details, everything that's going on. And I'm also going to tell you today why Facebook, Zuckerberg, I guess you could say, is a modern digital slave driver. Yes, those are strong words, but it is true. Now, who am I and why should you listen to what I have to say today? Now, I'm a businessman. I've ran several successful businesses. And in our time running businesses, I have spent well over $1 million on Facebook, just Facebook platform advertising, now called Meta. Yeah, and over $1 million of investment in advertising. You learn a thing or two about these platforms, how they work, because the only way you can spend that kind of money on these platforms is by learning how things work behind the scenes. Because once you reach a certain threshold of investment in these platforms, they get very scrutinous, they get very harsh and very difficult to deal with. I like to liken Facebook to essentially, a person who just is unstable. You never know what's going on. Maybe one day they wake up and they're super mad at you and everything's horrible. The next day everything's wonderful. You just never know where they have them. They're super secretive. They're very anti freedom of speech, the First Amendment. Very anti freedom of speech. They're very manipulative. And I'm going to tell you exactly the things that they don't want you to know, because I know these things. I have spent thousands upon thousands of dollars learning these secrets about Facebook, which they don't want us to know, in order to be able to survive as a business. So Facebook, for me, and Instagram, has always been what you would call a necessary evil. Without them, the business I had couldn't survive. But at the same time, I hated dealing with them. They're horrible. And let me tell you why. Now, my businesses were all online based. So all of my clientele were basically online customers. I had online websites, it was online courses, and so on and so forth. So I had to use online advertising. Of course, I've used Google and YouTube and other platforms as well, but nothing would work as well as Facebook and Instagram. Now, the thing I learned about Facebook in this time is that basically they have all these algorithms, these secret rules behind the scenes, and this very secretive department that they don't tell you. They say that they use what are called community standards. What are community standards? They're basically, fascist rules that control you and everything around Facebook. And if they're in any tiny bit benefit of the doubt, they shut you down. They ban you right away. I've lost several profiles, several things in the past, but nothing like what happened for the Kevin Porter for Congress campaign. That was embarrassing on the part of Facebook, and it was ridiculous, and it was election interference. So what happened in that case? I'll tell you a little bit more about what goes on behind the scenes of Facebook in a minute. I had started my campaign, my Facebook page, my Instagram page, and all that stuff for my Kevin Porter for Congress page. Now, in order to run for a political office or be a candidate for political office on Facebook, on Google, and so on, you have to have what's called campaign verification. In other words, you have to prove to them that you are in fact a political campaign candidate. And in order to do so, and then there's a little disclaimer that says, hey, this is paid for by Kevin Porter for Congress, and so on. So you go through this very scrutinous verification process where I had to get my personal profile first verified. I had to go to a notary public to make a declaration and signed by a notary public to submit to them that I am in fact who I am, live where I do, I'm a resident, of Florida, and so on. And anyways, then they approved and gave me the verification after a long time. It took me like a week and a half or more to get this verification. It took a little while. It can take longer sometimes. After that, then you have to connect it to your page. So you have to go to, so I had to create a page, Kevin Porter for Congress Facebook page, And then I had to connect it to this profile and verify it so they could see as my political page and so on. Okay, so far so good. All right, very scrutinous, very verified. They know I'm a candidate. There's no doubt about it at all that I'm a candidate. I start putting out content. I start putting out lives, plenty of, quite a few lives actually, live broadcasts like I'm doing here. I put out many short videos and things just talking about what my political views are. Essentially, well, I'm a America First Christian. I believe that our country needs to go back to its founding principles, which was just a Christian culture and a Christian influence behind everything. You know, the founding fathers were God-fearing people. And I believe we need to go back to that as things are getting out of control. They're getting ridiculous. I mean, so much gender confusion and so much going on because we're leaving those principles behind. And I was outspoken about that. I at no point, you know, incited any type of violence, any type of rioting, any type of anything besides just speaking my point of view, because I'm allowed to, due to our First Amendment, the freedom of speech. I didn't incite anything. I said, hey, here's what's going on. You know, there's a revolution coming in America because people are getting tired of what's going on and they want to create something new. But I no way, yeah, I talked about these things, but I never incited any type of action for people to go out and manifest or demonstrate or be violent or anything. So I in no way violated any rules, any community standards. And I know that for a fact because I know them like the back of my hand because I've advertised with Facebook for so long and I understand their platform so well. So what do? They singled me out. They probably saw this cross right here. You know, they saw me, the title, and they did what? They shut me down. They shut my page down. All my pages down, not just my Kevin Porter for Congress page. I had about 8 other pages that I used for my businesses and stuff where I had 60,000 followers, another one with 100-something thousand followers, big pages. They shut all of them down. They shut my personal profile down. They shut everybody who was involved in the Kevin Porter for Congress pages profiles down. They shut everything. They shut us completely down. Fortunately, my assistant, for example, campaign coordinator, she got her profile back pretty quickly. Thank God, because man, that's unfair. She can't talk to her friends or family, right? But mine's still shut down as of today. And this happened last Friday. And today is Wednesday. So, right? So they shut me down. I'm still shut down. Fortunately, when they zig, I know how to zag. So I can do things the wrong way, if you get what I'm saying. I know how to do things the wrong way with Facebook advertising. And that's where you get into these rules. That's when I purposely break their rules to advertise using methods that get around their rules and so on. I didn't want to do that. And I don't want to have to do that because I like to follow the rules. I like to respect their principles. But come on, really? You know, DeSantis in Florida, he put forth a law, I think it was 7072 or something like that, which is the anti-shutdown law, the anti-abuse of freedom of speech in digital platforms. And man, I wish this law was approved because it states that these platforms could be fined $25,000 a day, up to $100,000 a day, if they interfere in any candidate in his campaigning. Because they shut you down. They shut my campaign down. I spent quite a bit of money on this campaign too, getting the word out, getting the message out, getting followers. I spent quite a bit of money. They shut me down, right? And you know what? And I didn't get all sad and heartbroken. I mean, it sucks, but because I've been through this before. I've been shut down by Facebook before, and it's not pretty. You know, after spending as much money as I've done with Facebook, and they treat me this way, it's ridiculous. And that's what's wrong with big tech, right? Big tech censoring people who have a voice and who want to speak their mind. I am just speaking my principles, my focus for Kevin Porter for Congress, you know, and they're just going after me for it because it doesn't align with their values. It doesn't align with their agenda because Facebook is very anti-Christian first. They're very anti-Christian as a company. You know, there's a lot of Christians there, a lot of good people there, I know that. But as a company, they're anti-Christian. They're anti anything that has to do with preserving family values, preserving life, protecting life. Zuckerberg himself is avidly against a lot of those things. And so anything that's against that, they shut you down. Why? Because they're a private company who doesn't have any, essentially, they don't really have any regulatory control. They're a beast as that has grown out of hand. And that's where it's tricky when we get with government interference and stuff too, because in cases like this, they're abusing the First Amendment. So of course the government should step in. DeSantis tried to create a law which was blocked, and they're still trying to get it through to the Supreme Court, to stop him from doing this. As a political candidate from Florida, I would have been able to reap the benefits of this law, and they would have been able, they would have been fined a boatload of money for doing what they did with me. But they can get away with it still. It's ridiculous. So anyways, so what goes on so what are my plans first? And I'm going to tell you a little more about what goes on behind the scenes in Facebook if you're interested in that. If you're a little more into the details like I am. So the first thing I've done is I decided to focus on going off platforms as much as possible. So I'll be on the platforms as much as I can, like you're probably seeing this video on a platform, but I can't rely on them. I can't count on them not shutting me down like Facebook did. And who knows, I might get my account back, page back at Facebook. Who knows if I give them enough heat. Nonetheless, I can't rely on them because my campaign's going to get shut down. My campaign is mainly virtual, okay? I'm running a pretty much 100% virtual campaign here. I need to. I have to. So I have no choice. I'll tell you more about that later. But nonetheless, I have to basically rely on these platforms to get the word out. So when I get shut down, it really hurts my campaigning. So what I've decided to do is go off platform as much as possible. Essentially, I'm going to invite people like yourself to join my Telegram group and my email list, okay? That's where we can speak candidly. That's where we can speak openly about whatever, and we will not get deplatformed. Telegram is probably one of the most secure platforms out there as far as I know, and it's uncensored. They'll let you, talk how you want to talk. So I have a group in Telegram. There's a link below or above this video, should be, to join that group. Join the group, please, the Kevin Porter for Congress Telegram group. If you don't have Telegram, it's easy to install. You just click on the link and it'll prompt you. It should prompt you to go to the App Store. And if not, you go to your App Store on your phone and download Telegram. Telegram, just like the name sounds, is how it's spelled. Telegram. And you download it and then you just join my group. That's it. And then we talk in there and we can talk about these things openly. Like, I'm being pretty open right now, but in a way, not entirely, because I know that other platforms could deplatform me as well. But if I'm on YouTube and Twitter or whoever else, doing this live stream, producing this video, it's okay because I'm bad-mouthing Facebook. They don't mind. It's competition. Whereas vice versa, if I put this video on Facebook, man, I'd off of my head, right? But I'm already deplatformed, so whatever. So we're gonna go more off the scenes, off the scenes. And another thing too is, if you want to join my email list, how do you do that? You go into Kevin Porter. Okay, sorry, Kevin4congress.com/free-ebook, and you will find my digital copy of Reviving the American Dream, 3 Essential Steps to Winning Back Our Country Before It's Too Late. This is a beautiful book to read. I'm not saying it's beautiful because I wrote it, because, of course, right? Toot my own horn, right? But it's a good book. It really is. I talk about what the core problems are. I talk a little bit more about myself, what I stand for, and I talk about the solutions, 3 steps we need to implement as a country to get back on track, revive our American dream before it's too late. We got to take action now before it's too late. You can get that by going to Kevin4congress.com/free-ebook. Free-ebook. Okay? Grab yourself a copy. When you grab that copy, then you have the option to get onto my email list as well. It's free. And on the email list, I'll talk about stuff. We'll deal with subjects within there that I won't talk about anywhere else, because that's also a very censored or non-censored channel, open channel. All right, for those of you who are curious now, I talked a little bit about what goes on behind the scenes in Facebook. Now here we go. Are you ready? Buckle up. It's going to be a ride, because I've been paid in the past, no joke, I can prove this to you, but $1,000 an hour to reveal a lot of these secrets to people, marketers and advertisers on Facebook. Why? Because they get stuck in a loop and with difficulties and with these bannings and blockings on Facebook, and I help them get out. And I help them to create solutions to get out. Like myself, I've been deplatformed by Facebook. Can I get around it? Absolutely. Do I want to? Maybe. We'll see if I want to put the energy and effort into it, but I can do it. I can get around it. They can't stop me. And when they zig, I zag. I know too much about their platform for them to stop me. Nonetheless, that basically, so I've been paid $1,000 an hour to consult people and help people understand how to run successful advertising on Facebook. If it has to do with strategy, if it has to do with getting around all the blockades and the rules and algorithms, I can help them, right? And so what I'm going to tell you has a lot of value, actually. It really does. And so how does Facebook work? Essentially, Facebook's focus is to turn you into a digital slave. In fact, most social medias who are actually quite antisocial, they want to addict you to their algorithm, addict you to their platform. Why? Because the more time you use on their platforms, the more advertising they can show you. You are nothing else than a dollar sign in their eyes. I don't care how much Zuckerberg or whoever else talks about community this, community that, we're a community. He doesn't give an shit about the community. He is greedy. He is on a power trip, and that man is not good for our society. Why? Because he's putting us into digital prison, digital slavery. It's sneaky what he's doing. At the same time, you're like, for those of you who are avid Facebook users, well, I use Facebook, to stay in contact, talk to my friends. You do. But we can do that with a lot of other platforms without getting stuck in that digital slavery. How does the digital slavery work and what do they do? So you have a dollar sign over your head. You do, literally. They have a dollar value for your profile. So let's say you have 1,000 friends, you have a certain amount of engagement, you get a lot of likes on your posts, and you share things that people like to share as well and look at and consume. Well, they're gonna prioritize you in the algorithm to show on other friends' pages and so on, because you produce things that are consumable that people like to see and be on Facebook for. And they equate a dollar value with your profile because of that. So an average profile is worth about $20 in advertising money, probably more like 30, 40 these days. Back when I learned about it, it was like 20 bucks. So we're worth probably maybe, average profile is maybe worth about 40 bucks. Could be much more today, to be honest. And that's because they try to figure out how much time you're on there, how much you share. There's all these rules and algorithms where they literally have a price in your head. Now, what they try to do is, so Facebook advertisers like myself, when we advertise, we pay per 1,000 impressions. And that price per 1,000 impressions can vary anywhere from $5 to $30, $40, $50, $100, depending on the niche and the segment, on how competitive it is. It's an auction. So people fight in the auction to get the highest placement on the timelines and the best placements, the premium placements. Like, let's say you just log on your Facebook account, and then there on the top, there's the first advertisement, right? That premium spot it costs a lot. So there's people who advertise or who compete in the auction to get the highest placements, and the more you pay, the higher you can come up. And it can come up to like $100 per 1,000 impressions. What's an impression? Impression means that literally you went through your timeline, and a video or an ad just went past you. That's what an impression is. That's it. It doesn't mean you stopped, looked, did anything, right? It just means it went through your timeline, right? So for every 1,000 times that happens, it goes through somebody's timeline, well, the advertiser pays anywhere from $5, $6 to $100 or more dollars. Yeah, that much money. It may seem like a lot, but it's not, because on average, about 0.5% to 1% actually engage with that advertisement, unless somebody's really, really good at advertising. Now, on your Facebook profile, you have over 250 data points around your profile, which they monitor and look at to find out how to best advertise to you, how to best trap you in their platform. So you are nothing but a bunch of data to them, your profile. Every single element of your profile is analyzed on Instagram and Facebook. Everything from your posts to your messages. Anything private you write on Facebook is not private, it's very public. They will analyze all the language, all the audios, and they can even turn on your microphone and listen to what you're saying in the room, which they do sometimes. If you call anybody on Messenger, they will analyze what you're saying on Messenger as you're talking to the person so that they can figure out what ads to best serve you. So let's say that you're interested in training your dog, and you're on a Messenger call with your friend talking about, yeah, my dog needs to get trained. He's out of control, whatever. Well, all of a sudden you'll see advertisements for dog training. You see what I mean? They analyze everything you do. At the same time, they want to force you to see ads because they make more money for impressions. And at the same time, they want to keep you on the platform to show you more ads, so you're worth more money to them. See what I mean? So how do they do that? Facebook employs some of the smartest behavior psychologists and so on in the world. They pay them millions and millions of dollars to basically discover the best ways possible to addict us to using social media. This isn't just Facebook. This is TikTok. This is Snapchat. This is the other platforms as well. How do they do that? Well, they appeal to what would be essentially the reptilian side of our brain, which is the basic instincts. Desire to survive, polemic things catch well, like something polemic, like, oh my gosh, that happened, or this happened, or you won't believe this or that. This curious side is a side that curiosity allows us to grow as humans. And God gave us curiosity so we can grow and move forward. Now, curiosity, as they say, curiosity killed the cat. And the Facebook and Instagram, that's the case. Curiosity kills the cat because they get you to be curious about content that's just garbage. And if you notice, it's more and more garbage on there. The other day, I was looking at my profile, before they banned it, and I was like, okay, what's going on? And they started pushing these videos, discovery videos, and all these videos. They're trying to get like TikTok and so on, which is absolute Chinese garbage, by the way. I'm just going to put that out there. That platform should be banned from America because every single thing you do on that is being informed to the Chinese. It's run by the Chinese Communist Party. That's another topic for another day. Anyway, so on TikTok, it's really addictive. They figure out, and a lot of platforms are copying it because it gets more retention. So you're watching these videos, and what do they put in front of you? Well, they put things that appeal to your reptilian side: sex, survival, right? Sex, survival, and protection. Basic, I think, is what 3 is. Don't quote me on that. I gotta remember it. But it's sex, survival, and safety, or something like that. Anyways, so what they do is, I know one of them is sex, right? So on my discovery, all of a sudden they're throwing all this really sexual, implicit stuff in front of me. I'm a married man. I have 4 children. I'm happily married. I don't need that in my life. I don't need that garbage in front of me. You see what I mean? I don't want that garbage in front of me. I don't want to be tempted and pushed towards things that will make me think another way about another woman. Yet they're just throwing that garbage in front of me because they know that men my age get addicted and consume mostly that content. So that's a way for them sucking in men into the platform to get them to consume a lot, and then they throw the ads in there. So they'll do whatever dirty trick they can pull out. They'll do it to get you to use their platforms and pay more advertising and get more advertising money. Facebook makes billions a year on advertising. It's insane how much money they make. Billions and millions a year. It's absolutely nuts. And it's all on advertising. All of it. It's all this garbage Zuckerberg talks about being community oriented and community this and building communities and better connection. No. And this metaverse thing, man, it stinks to high heaven. That's something we need to stay away from. Getting trapped into a meta existence where we get this fake existence where we don't even know who we are anymore. That's what's going to happen. You start living in the metaverse, which you're talking about, man, we're going to be completely disconnected. We're going to have a disassociation with our lives like you wouldn't imagine. We're going to want to be in there because it's much better, and out here it's much worse. But we know there's no heaven on earth. We get trapped in there. And the thing is, the more social media we use, the sadder we get. It's been proven. The more we consume, the more we feel bad. So these platforms, they know this more than anyone. In fact, you look on Facebook, Meta now, a lot of ex-executives have left the company, and now they fight against it, and they try to bring awareness about the company so that people stop using it. And that's where I'm like, okay, if you want to talk to people, let's talk to people. I remember the old days when it first started. It was great. Sure, Facebook was wonderful because we just used it to connect. There wasn't advertising really. We just talk, and you write a post or something, and people would write their comments and engage and talk and stuff. Right? Well, now it's turned into just a place where it's cold. You see what I mean? People no longer post personal stuff, really. They post and repost viral videos. They say silly things as like a platform, but it's no longer social. It's antisocial. We show this version, or not we, but people show this version of themselves that isn't true either, especially on other social media platforms. But here's the thing. We need to be confident of who we are for who we are. We don't need any social platform to tell us, that we're a certain one way or another. But the problem is that these social media platforms, especially Facebook, indoctrinate our children. And it's just indoctrination is absolutely off the charts. And it's pushing a gender issue. It's pushing, we're going to have, if we don't do something fast, in the next 10 years, we're going to have a population decrease like we've never seen before. Why? Because people are so confused about who they are. Because of these platforms. They throw stuff in front of us that confuses us constantly. They have an agenda. And no two timelines are alike. They do whatever they can to, push things around your biggest pains and weaknesses. So let's say if you're self-conscious, you don't like the way you look. Well, they're gonna push stuff in front of you that makes you feel even worse about that. Why? How? They'll probably show you a bunch of videos and people who are look amazing, right? Who are using filters, and they're gonna make you feel like you're not good, and so on, right? It's just horrible. It's just horrible, and it needs to stop. And it needs to. I can't stand it. I have to speak up about this because for years this has been boiling inside of me, right? And I for years I've been wanting to do something to fight back against Facebook because I've known these things. I've seen these things. I've seen people walking in these traps. I see how many relationships get broken up because of social media. How many children are harmed because of social media. I hate it. I hate it. I really do. And we need to stand up and do something about it. We can't let them violate our rights, our First Amendment rights, our freedom of speech, and control us like little rats in a maze. That's what they do. We're not digital slaves. So my encouragement to you is one, like I said, join my Telegram channel. Let's talk in there. That's just talking. All right. That's our group. We're going to talk. My email list, get my free book, Kevin for Congress / free dash ebook. And I'll bring you right to the page and you join my newsletter there as well. And let's do something about this. Let's put our phones down, our social media down. Let's be more with our friends and family. Let's talk to them more. Let's give them a call. Think about someone right now you haven't called in a while. After this live, go give them a call. Go talk to them. I did that last night. I said, you know what? Instead of sitting on a social media doing any of this stuff, I'm going to call people. And I did. And I called a couple people. I only got through to one, but we had a nice, long conversation. And it was wonderful. It was awesome. And I encourage you to do the same. If it's on Messenger, fine, do it on Messenger. If it's on your phone, do it on your phone. If it's a text, you know what I mean? Find somebody you can call today and talk to that person. And let's get this connection going, all right? And so I basically, the whole point of this live was it's a frustration. I just want to tell you how it is. I'm always going to be honest and direct with you. And also to forewarn you that we're heading in a way with these social media platforms where we're getting controlled. They're taking away our rights, other rights as well, a lot more. I didn't even get into that. And let's fight back. How can you fight back? Well, first, stop using them, right? Easy peasy, right? Stop using them as much. Switch to other platforms. Start using Telegram instead of Messenger. Start inviting people over there or whatever else. Stay away from these products. Another way is, well, honestly, vote for me. I'm running for Congress, District 11, Florida, just west of Orlando. And you can vote for me because I'm a person that understands these things, right? The current incumbent in District 11 is a man who's in his 70s. He has no clue about what's going on. He's out of touch. He's actually, as far as I heard, he's actually pretty sick. And he won the primaries and and they're talking about him basically, I don't know what's going on, but he's really absent. He's not really involved. I don't want to talk bad because, thank you for your service, Daniel Webster. Thank you for serving the district, but your time is gone and it's time to retire. Okay? And make way for people who understand this generation, people who understand what's going on in this country, people who can stand up, have the energy and strength and desire to fight for what's right. Because that's what we need in America. We need to stop letting this garbage infiltrate our homes and our youth, right? We need to stand up for what's right, and we need to make a change. You can make a change by voting for people who represent you. So vote in these primaries. Vote for me, Kevin Porter, for Congress. I'm running as an independent. I'm not from one party or the other. Why? Well, first of all, because I don't side with one party or the other. I may have conservative values in one side, but I also have some liberal values. But not in the bad way, in the good way. Like, for example, I believe women should have maternity leave. I believe women should not have to get fired or give up their jobs and be penalized to have a child. That's more the liberal side of things. That's more the right of the side of things. I also believe that we need to be Christian. We need to go back to our Christian values. That's more the conservative side. You see what I mean? And I've got a lot of values and stances that kind of border on both sides. But as far as values go, American first, I'm a Christian. Okay? I respect anyone who is not. Happily. I respect you if you do not believe. And that's the beauty of Christianity in its pure essence. Jesus himself, he respected those who did not believe as he did. He loved them. He took care of them. He appreciated them. And he respected them. If you look at Jesus, the only people he was harsh on were the religious proud. the Pharisees and Sadducees of the time. Those are basically the two biggest Jewish sects at the time, and they were super proud towards them. A lot of them, not all of them, and that's who he was harsh towards. The people who were proud, right? But the people who weren't, think about Jesus. He hung out with drunkards. He hung out with prostitutes, tax collectors. Tax collectors were hated even worse at that time because they're super corrupt. He let a prostitute wash his feet. You see what I mean? And he didn't go there, but it's because she was redeemed. She was saved, and he didn't care about status. He doesn't care about status. He doesn't care about how up you are, how you are on the totem pole or anything like that. Jesus cares that your heart is your heart, and you're his child, and that's that. But he respects free will. So if any Christian doesn't respect your free will, they're not living by the truth that Jesus preached. Jesus respects you for who you are. I respect you for who you are. So if you don't believe, that's fine. If you believe, that's fine. But either way, I stand for Christian values because our country was founded on Christian values. And that's what gave us the success and the amazing country we have today. The democratic principles, democracy, right, as in America, was the first of its type ever in the world, in the history of the world. And it came out of an objection from tyranny. The King of England was tyrannic and treating us horribly. So we basically nailed the Declaration of Independence on the door and rejected it. And started our own version of what we thought would be best based on what we see in the Christian values. That everybody is equal. We're the kings and queens. It says this in the Bible. We're the kings and queens. We're royalty. That's the essential, that's the principles. That we all have the life, we all deserve life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness endowed by our Creator. That's what they say in the Declaration of Independence. By our Creator, okay? And this is something that they said, Christian values, these are values of the man. These are values of the heart. The government should not ever make rules according to this, or basically make rules about how you believe, what values you have. The government should basically put into practice, put into play those values. They're to take care of the practical. And they want to avoid, a state church situation again. Because they could have said, okay, we're going to be all, the Constitution, all this stuff is going to be very Christian oriented. Everything has to be, people have to be followers of Christ. But then it becomes force and control. And Jesus doesn't control you. God does not control you. He doesn't force you. He respects your free will, and I respect that as well. I just, want to put that out there. I think it's really interesting and important to know what I stand for. That I'm not here to force you to do anything. I'm here to uphold our values. I'm here to fight for you. I'm here to do what's right. So don't forget to vote for me in the primaries, okay? I'm your candidate I will do the most out of anybody for this district, okay? And if you can't vote for me, tell your friends to do so as well. Or if you can, tell your friends as well. Thank you so much for watching this. Until next time, God bless you. God bless your family and your friends.